Shuddhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vandachari Yamunatira Vandachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrtikacharya Statra Sattva Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada founder Acharya Bhiviti ISKCON ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 14th chapter, The Disappearance of Lord Krishna, text number 34. Bhagavan api Govindo Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsala Kachit Pure Sudharmayam Sukhamaste Suridvrita Bhagavan api Govindo Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsala Kachit Pure Sudharmayam Sukhamaste Suridvrita Bhagavan api Govindo Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsala Kachit Pure Sudharmayam Sukhamaste Suridvrita Please repeat. Mataji's. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Krishna, Api, also, Govinda, one who enlivens the cows and the senses, Brahmanya, devoted to the devotees of the Brahmanas, Bhaktavatsala, affectionate to the devotees, Kachit, whether, Pure, in Dvarkapuri, Sudharmayam, pious assembly, Sukham, happiness, Aste, enjoy, Suridvrita, surrounded by friends. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Is Lord Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who gives pleasures to the cows, the senses and the brahmanas, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, is enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarkapuri, surrounded by friends? Question mark. Please repeat. Is Lord Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who gives pleasure to the cows, the senses, and the brahmanas, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, is he enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarkapuri, surrounded by friends? Purport. Here, in this particular verse, the Lord is described as Bhagavan, Govinda, Brahmanya, and Bhaktavatsala. He is Bhagavan Swayam, meaning the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, full with all opulences, all power, all knowledge, all beauty, all fame, and all renunciation. No one is equal to or greater than him. He is Govinda because he is the pleasure of the cows and the senses. Those who have purified their senses by the devotional service of the Lord can render unto him real service and thereby derive transcendental pleasure out of such purified senses. Only the impure conditioned living being cannot derive any pleasure from the senses, but being illusioned by false pleasures of the senses, he becomes servant of the senses. Therefore, we need the Lord's protection for our own interest. The Lord is the protector of cows and the Brahminical culture. And here then follows a strong statement. A society devoid of cow protection and Brahminical culture is not under the direct protection of the Lord. Just as the prisoners in the jails are not under the protection of the king, but under the protection of a severe agent of the king. Without cow protection and cultivation of the Brahminical qualities in human society, at least for a section of the members of society, no human civilization can prosper at any length. By Brahminical culture, the development of the dormant qualities of goodness, namely truthfulness, equanimity, sense control, forbearance, simplicity, general knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and firm faith in the Vedic wisdom, one can become a Brahmana and thus see the Lord as he is. And after surpassing the Brahminical perfection, one has to become a devotee of the Lord, so that his loving affection in the form of proprietor, master, friend, son and lover can be transcendentally achieved. The stage of a devotee which attracts the transcendental affection of the Lord does not develop unless one has developed the qualities of a Brahmana, as above mentioned. The Lord is inclined to a Brahmana of quality and not to a Brahmana of false prestige. Those who are less than a Brahmana by qualification cannot establish any relation with the Lord. Just as fire cannot be kindled from the raw earth unless there is wood. Although there is a relation between wood and the earth. Since the Lord is all perfect in himself, there could not be any question of his welfare, and Maharaj Yudhisthira refrained from asking this question. He simply inquired about his residential place, Dwarka Puri, where pious men assemble. The Lord stays only where pious men assemble and takes pleasure in their glorifying the supreme truth. Maharaj Yudhisthira was anxious to know about a pious man and their pious acts in the city of Dwarka. Om Agyanatimarandasya Gananya Sulakaya Shakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnudaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Sattvarupdas Goswamiti Namni. Om Vishnudaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namni. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Hare Krishna. So Yudhisthira Maharaj, as the king, he had sent Arjuna, or Arjuna went to Dwarka some time ago, some months ago, and he was wondering, when is he coming back? And Yudhisthira Maharaj started to speak to his brother Bhima and started to explain him that he saw all kinds of signs, inauspicious signs, that there was a change, and that was manifested in different ways. By seasonal changes, by attitude of the citizens, by arguments that took place that wouldn't have taken place before, where people become angry and upset, where people start lying and are deceitful. So he saw changes, and he also had met, or Narada Muni had come to him, and Narada Muni had mentioned that in due course of time, although he did not mention when, but in due course of time the Lord will wind up his pastimes on this earth. So then when he was speaking like that with Bhima, then suddenly Arjuna, after 7 months, he arrived and he gave his obeisances to his older brother because he was in the position of a king. So he was very respectful to him. At the same time, Arjuna was looking pale, he was looking miserable, he was crying, his voice was choked up, he couldn't speak at first. So then, because this silence was there, then Yudhisthira started to ask questions, all kinds of questions to Arjuna, not understanding or not fully understanding why Arjuna was like that. He was wondering, because he was wondering if he had done something wrong, or if was there somebody who came to him looking for shelter, and then he did not give proper shelter. Because if somebody comes to a Kshatriya who is in a powerful position and the person is asking for shelter and without any other political motivations, then the Kshatriya's duty is to give shelter. So he was wondering, did he not act properly in some situation? Is that because of that reaction that he is now in such a desperate situation? So that's why Yudhishthir Maharaj, he asked one question after the other, and because he looked pale, means he was not effulgent. Because Arjuna, when he was with Krishna, and in general, he was very, very vibrant person, very dynamic, very effulgent, very Krishna conscious also. So and we know when we are nicely situated in service, and when we are nicely situated in Krishna consciousness, then automatically we feel good, we feel energetic, we feel we look forward to the day, we look forward to our sadhana, we look forward to our service. We are positively inclined in our situation, in our life. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that Govinda, he is the master of the senses, in the sense that if we use our senses, our energy in the service of the Lord, in the form of sadhana, in the form of service, in the form of studying, in so many ways we can use our energy and our senses in the service of the Lord. So then we are made such, because we are all constitutionally, we are all eternal servants of the Lord. So when we act according to our constitutional position of being a servant of the Lord, then naturally we are happy. It's a natural, that's how Krishna has made the living entities, that they are naturally happy. And Srila Prabhupada, he explains in the purport that just like the prisoners, they are not under the direct protection of the king, because they have abused their position, they have disturbed their relationship with the king. They have acted in a way that the king was not pleased with them. And that can be so many things that may have happened. And that's why they are under the direct supervision of a more severe representative of the king. So they are still citizens, but they don't have the freedom, they don't have the relationship that the other citizens have. The prisoners, they are under the superintendent of the police, under his care, a more severe, a more stringent situation they are put in. So the same happens when the living entities, when the people use their senses for their own pleasure, not only their senses, but also their mind and their intelligence, when they line all these things up for trying to gratify their own senses, then first of all, the pleasure one can get is quite limited. That's one thing. But another thing is that is against how we are construed. It's against how the Creator has made us. Just when you have a washing machine, and then the factory has made it in a certain way, and then with a washing machine is a guidance, and the guidance says put soap here and water there, and so if you then put something completely different in there, the result of the washing of your clothes will be different, or even the machine can be destroyed. So in a similar way, the Lord has created the living entity as an eternal servant of Him, and He has created us in such a way that if we serve Him, and if we use all our senses in His service, then we will be happy. But if we do not use the senses, if we want to use the senses for that little pleasure that we can get out of the body, then there will be also a reaction. Then we fall under the laws of material nature. And the laws of material nature are very cruel, are very harsh, are very hard. They are not, they are more impersonal laws that act according to as a reaction of our action, of course. But they are quite severe, and we all have experienced that to some extent. How harsh the laws of material nature are. So here in this purport, the important theme is that Krishna is called Govinda, and because he is the pleasure of the cows and the senses. So now, related to the cows, there is many things that can be stated here. And so Prabhupada makes very strong statements in relation to the cows and the importance of the cows. It's also one of the things that Sri Prabhupada in his last days in Vrindavan, that he expressed to Bhakti Charuswami, because Bhakti Charuswami glorified him for all the things he had done, and he said, I have only done, at that time he said, I only have done 50%. I was not able to establish Varnashram Dharma. I was not able to establish the So he regretted that, and of course an important part of Varnashram Dharma are the cows and agriculture and Brahminical culture. Cows, agriculture, Brahminical culture, simple living, high thinking, they all go together. They go very much together. And just like this, this purport where Srila Prabhupada refers to prisoners, that they are not under the direct protection of the king, Srila Prabhupada is saying a society devoid of cow protection and Brahminical culture is not under the direct protection of the Lord. And he is saying that without cow protection and cultivation of the Brahminical culture and qualities, no human society, no human civilization can prosper at any length. And we know we are living on this planet Earth, and we know what's going on in relation to cows. In 2019, on a daily basis, on the planet Earth, 900,000 cows were killed. Cows, calves, bulls, whatever, on a daily basis. And the average American, they eat in their lifetime 11 cows. That's the average number of cows they eat. So cow protection is a very important aspect. Of course, India is on a better level there, although there are also slaughterhouses in India. I don't know how many, but many. But still, some states, they have some either limitation or complete, they forbid completely cow slaughter. But then some also have rules like you can only slaughter the cows after 15, when they're age of 15 years old. And usually cows live 22, 24, 26 years of age. So India is doing a little better on that level, but still there is a long way to go if we, like some states allow cows to be slaughtered in India if it's for export, if it's for the business trade. So these are, these are poor rules, because it means economics are more important. This type of economics are more important than the cows themselves. Cow is a very special animal. It's it's not for nothing that the highest home, the highest spiritual home, Goloka Vrindavan, is full of cows. So our home, our real home, is full of cows and full of interaction with cows, and full of devotees also, but also full of cows. So the cows play a very important role in our devotional life. And of course, Mayapur has 360 cows. But Srila Prabhupada wanted that each project, also Mayapur, would have enough milk for all the deities, for all the devotees, and even for all the guests. So, in our case, we have barely enough for the deities. Because, one thing is direct milk, another thing is butter, ghee, so many other products that are also milk products. Everything related to the cow is auspicious. The cow urine is auspicious, the cow dung is auspicious. Touching the cow is auspicious. Rendering service to the cows is auspicious. The cow can work, can do so many things. Some statements by Srila Prabhupada. Yes, this supplying of milk to the temple is wanted. Every center must have a farm. Srila Prabhupada didn't say should have a farm. He said must have a farm. So we can get all milk, and if possible, vegetable, fruits, flowers. That's from a letter written to Rupanuga while Prabhupada was here in Mayapur. Then letter to Jagadish. I want the world to see by our example that life can be lived naturally, peacefully, if one is self-sufficient with land, some cows, and chanting Hare Krishna. And then we have the verse, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Itaya Cha Jagat Ditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. My Lord, you are the well-wisher of the cows and the brahmanas. Why is the translation here? First the cows and then the brahmanas. And you are the well-wisher of the entire human society and world. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Go Brahmana Itaya Cha. He is always very kind to the cows and the brahmanas. Therefore, one who worships Govinda must satisfy him by worshipping the cows and the brahmanas. The brahmanas are the symbol of spiritual education. Cows are the symbols of giving most valuable food. Those two living creatures, the brahmanas and the cows, must be given all protection. And then the last part, that is real advancement of civilization. So when the cows and the brahmanas are given protection, that's real advancement of civilization. That's real civilization. Krishna is called by various names, like Gopal, one who tends cow, Govinda, who gives pleasure to the cows, because of Krishna's relationship with the cow. Even the eternal residence of Krishna is called Goloka, planet full of cows. Another point is the cow is considered one of the 7 mothers. All the demigods reside in different parts of the body. By serving the cow with devotion, Lord Hari becomes pleased. Krishna can be worshipped within the cows by offerings of grass and other suitable grains and paraphernalia for the pleasure and health of the cows. When Srila Prabhupada was here, also around 74, I think, he did state that he was looking forward somebody who would take the cow protection to another level in Mayapur. That would be a very special service, he said. Also after Putana, when she became so big and took Krishna in the sky, and then Krishna took her last breath, and then she smashed on the earth, and he was just playing. So then Mother Yashoda and the gopis and the gopas, they quickly try to find Krishna, and then they gave him a special bathing for his protection, because they felt, oh, Krishna has been in danger, there is some black magic here or something. So let us do, special ceremony. And this special ceremony consisted of bathing Krishna with cow dung, cow urine, and then sprinkling the dust of the hooves of the cows, like when a herd of cows pass by and it's dry, a lot of dust goes up. So, and also with the tail of the cow. That's the ceremony they did after Putana tried to poison Krishna. Also, when there is a deity installation, the ingredients panchagavya, they are milk, yogurt, ghee, cow urine, and cow dung. These are the 5 elements that are used at the deity installation by the priest. So all this shows how important the cows are. We may not have understood this from our birth or from our upbringing, but the reality is there. Krishna has simply decided that the cow is an important aspect of a devotee's life. And he is the Supreme Lord, is the Supreme Master. So if he decides something, then that's what it is. And then it's up to us to understand that deeper and better and absorb that also make that part of our life and our consciousness and our activities. Srila Prabhupada also made a statement that economic development means cows and agriculture. That's real economic development. Of course, now there are many people who set up big factories about steel and about this and about that. So many things, cars and computers, etc., etc. But that's not, if you look on the history of the world, that's a very short period that these things play an important role. Very short period. And that's because people overdo, because people want to so-called become perfect in the material sense in this world, which then is not really possible. So if you see over time and forever, what are the real pillars of economic development for society forever, is cows and agriculture. These are the real pillars for economic development. And all the rest are temporary things that flare up and then disappear in time. And of course the devotees use these things, whatever we can use in the service of Krishna, we use. But at the same time, we are very much aware that these are all temporary things that pop up, but the real foundation of economic development are cows and agriculture. Because people live so artificially that, and people gather with millions in cities, and then when there is a disaster, either natural disaster or war, or then suddenly you have famine. People have nothing to eat. That's the result of doing things out of natural order. You get situations where millions of people might starve because suddenly, there is a situation that leads to that. But we attract that by not basing our life on real economic development, means cows and agriculture. Then we attract that type of extremes. Agriculture and cow protection, Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport in the Srimad Bhagavatam, are the way to become sinless and thus be attracted to devotional service. Those who are sinful cannot be attracted by devotional service. Another statement from the first canto, chapter 16. Human civilization means to advance the cause of Brahminical culture, and to maintain it, cow protection is essential. There is a miracle in milk, for it contains all the necessary vitamins to sustain human psychological conditions for higher achievements. Brahminical culture can advance only when man is educated to develop the quality of goodness. And for this, there is a prime necessity of food prepared with milk, fruit, and grains. And then in Krishna book, it's explained how Nanda Maharaj and the whole community of Gopas and Gopis, how they were doing cow protection and agriculture, and by doing so, they were very wealthy. They were able to give thousands of cows to the Brahmanas. They were able to decorate their cows with gold. They were able to decorate in beautiful festivals with ceremonies and festivals, beautiful saris, beautiful clothing, beautiful jewelry. They had everything. What were they doing? Taking care of the cows and agriculture. So we think you can only be a poor man. Of course, we should be inclined to accept whatever Krishna arranges temporarily for us, even if that means simple living, which is also advantageous in some ways for our spiritual life. But at the same time, Srila Prabhupada is pointing out in the Krishna book how Nanda Maharaj was very wealthy. Not only him, but the whole community was wealthy simply by taking care of cows and agriculture. It is very important to note in this connection how wealthy the inhabitants of Vrindavan were simply by raising cows. All the cowherd men belonged to the Vaishya community, and their business was to protect the cows and cultivate crops. They were rich in material possessions. The inhabitants of Vrindavan possessed such an abundance of various kinds of milk products that they were throwing butter lavishly on each other's bodies without restriction. Their wealth was in milk, yogurt, clarified butter, and many other milk products, and by trading their agriculture products, they were rich in various kinds of jewelry, ornaments, and costly garments. Not only did they possess all these things, but they could give them away in charity lavishly, as did Nanda Maharaj. How important is milk for devotees? The cow is the most important, this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. The cow is the most important animal for developing the human body to perfection. The body can be maintained by any kind of foodstuff, but cow's milk is particularly essential for developing the finer tissues of the human brain, so that one can understand the intricacies of transcendental knowledge. So that's another aspect of the cow, of milk. It's Prabhupada called sometimes miracle food. That it feeds the finer tissues of the brain, of the human brain, by which we can understand the transcendental knowledge, the more subtle things of the transcendental knowledge. Another statement in same topic: no society can improve in transcendental knowledge without the guidance of first-class man, and no brain can assimilate the subtle form of knowledge without finer brain tissues. For such important brain tissues, we require a sufficient quantity of milk and milk preparations. Ultimately, we need to protect the cow to derive the highest benefit from this important animal. The protection of cows, therefore, is not merely a religious sentiment, but a means to secure the highest benefit for human society. Also in ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada learned us to cook with ghee. But then later, some financial difficulties were there, and then ghee is much more expensive than oil. So then devotees started to, for the deities, they kept the ghee. But that was not the idea. Prabhupada established cooked preparations with ghee. And sometimes, like in the summer, where in hot countries like India, then summer with good quality oil. But we went from ghee to oil and sometimes even to bad quality oil or cheap quality oil. And that's not, how Srila Prabhupada learned us to, because as we read, of course ghee is not the only thing, but ghee is important to get the best quality food to offer to the deities, but that should also ideally be used for the cooking, because this Srila Prabhupada makes several statements about that. Another statement from the Bhagavatam, 4th canto: if one supplies milk to a talented sage or saint, the saint will develop finer brain tissues by which he can contemplate higher spiritual life. You cannot reject milk from the human society. As soon as there is child born, milk immediately required. Old man, milk is life. Diseased person, milk is life. Invalid, milk is life. Krishna is teaching by his practical demonstration how he loves this innocent animal cow. The Brahmana cannot take any other food except it is made of milk preparation. That develops the finer tissues of the brain. This last, what I read, is from a lecture in Los Angeles. Without milk, you cannot develop the finer tissues of your brain. And without developing the finer tissues of brain, it is not possible to understand what is God, what we are, what is our relationship. This is from a lecture in Bombay. So I will stop here. Any comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for your nice class. Prabhuji, I have two queries. One is that regarding Bhakti Charu Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada conversation, which is mentioned in the book Ocean of Mercy, Vrindavan chapter, that Prabhupada was saying that he was not able to complete whole mission, 50% is still incomplete. So Varnashram he was referring, Prabhupada was referring Varnashram. So what are the measures we can take to establish Varnashram at Mayapur? So what are the hurdles here? So please explain. And the second point.
What do you want to know?
How we can establish Varnashram at Mayapur? Because Varnashram is self-sustainable. Vegetable, grains, fruits, and milk. So we can produce ourselves, and it will be utilized for deity and for devotees. But it is not happening here. So how we can establish practically and execute and implement? And my second query is that the ghee available in the shops in Mayapur, I have heard that it is mentioned Mayapur ISKCON, but it is outsourced. The ghee is not made from Goshala milk because Goshala milk is not adequate. So it is outsourced. So you can correct me if I am not. So 2 points, please clarify. Thank you for your class.
Yeah, so there is in India a ministry of Varnashram Dharma, which is Bhakti Raghava Swami, and he is doing an effort in this regard, because Varnashram means there are 4 Varnas and 4 ashrams. So means developing that all in the right proportion, so that everybody is nicely situated in his Varna and in his ashram. And then, of course, then nicely situated means also that the Brahminical culture is promoted, and is the lifestyle is is acted upon accordingly. So, but how to establish that? That's a whole big discussion, and especially since there is a ministry of Varnashram, and Bhakti Raghava Swami sometimes spends time in Mayapur, and he even has some office here, Varnashram office as far as I know. So, yeah, we would have to discuss with him how he sees that could be further established. And of course what we are doing, we are already doing some part of that Varnash naturally as a temple. I mean, we have brahmacharis, we have grihastas, we have vanaprasthas, we have sannyasis. So as a temple, naturally, we are already doing that. Now, the question could be, how can we improve that? And especially, how can we improve simple living? How can you improve cow protection? How can we get milk for all our activities? And then in relation to your second question, yes, the ghee that is made by Smart, opposite the Goshala, is not made with the milk of the Goshala, because the milk of the Goshala is needed for the deities. So, as far as I know, they buy the cream of the cows in the area, and from that they make the ghee. So, but the ghee is made from milk, from the cream of the milk of the. I mean, Mother Yashoda, she made the best ghee. She took milk, you cook the milk, you turn it into yogurt, then you churn the yogurt into butter, and then you cook the butter like for 24 hours on a soft flame, so that all the impurities go down and the water and whatever the foam comes up. And then you take off the foam, and then the impurities anyway, they stay with the bottom of the pot, and then you get this beautiful golden ghee. That's Mother Yashoda's ghee, and that is sometimes also called Deshi ghee, because that's the original procedure is followed. That's what I can say about that.
Prabhuji, one more thing is that being at Mayapur, this is very beautiful land, very fertile. It is on the bank of the Ganges, and there is successful model of the farm community in India also, like Nandgram farm community at Baroda. That 25 families are staying. They produce their own crops. They produce their own, garments, dresses, all these things. So this thing we can also replicate.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhu, thank you very much for the wonderful class. I just have one comment and one question. So, actually there's something called as cow cuddling. Cow cuddling.
Cow what?
Cuddling. You cuddle the cow. You embrace
cow
it.
care.
No, you embrace it. Hugging the cow.
Hugging the cow, okay.
So they call it as cow cuddling. So,
okay.
So that is actually, they pay money for it, and they say that it actually reduces stress.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually it's, some people have cows and they take it to, in trucks, then they go to some IT, something, and then there the employees come and kind of hug and stress is relieved. This is also one, I heard it is there.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because a cow is in goodness.
Yeah.
And a Brahmana is in goodness. So when you associate with the Brahmana, you get benefited.
Yeah.
When you associate with the cow, you get benefit. So your mind, your stress, your anxieties, they go down due to the goodness of the cow, and so it has a very positive effect on the human psychology. As long as the donations go to the cow, then it's good. Because people ask money for this type of courses. So the money should go to the cow.
Prabhu, the question is that you're saying that when Nand Maharaj time, they had a lot of gold just from. But
Trading.
then practically we see here is that to even in Mayapur for that, to maintain in whatever rate we are getting milk. I mean, like, how does that economics work? That's the question.
Yeah, sure. The thing is that, it was a fact. Otherwise, Sri Prabhupada would not have written in the Krishna book. So it is a fact that, you see, with cows, when you deal with cows in the right way and you do the right care, then the cow also reciprocates. And, Sri Prabhupada says, if the cow is free of fear, then she will give, and she feels loved, then she will give a double amount of milk. That's Prabhupada. I didn't read it, but that's one of the statements Prabhupada makes, Sri Prabhupada makes. You see, depending on the care and the affection the cow carer gives to the cow reciprocates to that. So I cannot exactly, comment on that. I do believe fully that Nanda Maharaj was wealthy just because of the cows and agriculture. Now, how we can transform that here, and I don't know, I don't have the solution, but I do believe that we can, and that we just have to give it more attention. And then things will come. More attention, more affection, more use our intelligence more. Not just see it as one corner that is taken care by what's his name, Damgopal, right? Anyways. So it's not just one person's duty to take care of the cows. They should be fully part of the community, and we should be in connection. And the cow carers should also be full-time devotees, not just that this is for outside people taking care of the cows. No, it should be also done by us. The care for the cows should be done by us. It's not some isolated part in the community. It should be integral part of the community. Just like the deities are integral. The whole community is around the deities. So the cows also should be much more part of our daily life. And then things will happen. Because we do what Krishna wants us to do. And then ideas will come, Lakshmi will come, everything will come when we do what Krishna wants us to do. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.